Hello, everyone. It is good to see everyone as always. We missed you guys since last month. Hopefully you guys can see the presentation in front of you. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Feel free to say what's up, where you're coming from in the chat box, just making sure you guys can hear us. We're gonna give it just a couple of more minutes to let some other people join, and then we will get started. We got some cool stuff for you guys. This is like the gossip PC Power Hour for the year. So we got all the tea that's coming up. We got some announcements, and then we brought in some of our partner colleges to actually do some work. So you guys will see you'll be able to get a little bit of everything at this Power Hour. All right, we'll give it one more minute and then we'll start going through the agenda. All right. All right, everybody. So again, welcome. We love to see you guys. We love to hear from you guys. Thank you for joining us today for our April PC Power Hour, where we bring to you information, best practices, all kinds of great things that we can work as a community in supporting our scholars. Today, we are going to kick it off with our agenda items. We will have Hain Lee present the survey data from last year and how you will be able to access that data from your own personal partner colleges in their own words. So Hain is like the gossip queen today. She got all the tea of what your scholars have been saying about their experiences on campuses. And now she's gonna like let you guys know all the gossip and what's going on. So that's gonna be really fun. Then I will kick it off with some of our award announcements. We're in that time of the year. We're letting our scholars know whether they've received the scholarship or not. And so we'll go through some of those practices as well. And then we have the pleasure today of being joined by two of our awesome partner colleges. We have Janet, who's going to be presenting from Trinity Colleges and is going to be speaking a little bit about some of the best practices that they have in welcoming new scholars and having an orientation process, as well as Raven from the University of Houston, where we'll talk about some of her best practices in welcoming and engaging new scholars in this time. We will then, as always, have an open forum where you will be able to ask your questions, ask remarks, and sort of talk through anything that we've talked about during the session or just in general regarding the scholarship program. And then we will give you a little sneak peek of what we got in store for you for next month's PC Power Hour. So with all of that being said, I will pass it off to Hain.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us for our April PC Power Hour. We're already at the end of the semester. We know it's a super busy time for everybody. So thank you for making the time. As Chris mentioned, we're doing two parts here today. I'm here really in place of our senior research analyst, Vernisa Donaldson, who's out of the office, who has been looking at our scholar survey data. And we are so excited to announce that we are ready to release reports by partner college for last year's 2021-2022 scholar survey results. So as most of you know, I do see some of our new PCs here on this call, which we are always so happy to see. Just as an FYI and reminder, every May through June is our scholar survey and renewal season. And so every May, we ask all of our scholars who enrolled in the past academic year to complete a survey where we ask them questions about their partner college experience, their experience with our scholarship, areas where they need key resources, particularly around career development and their career aspirations, especially as we move into this new stage of serving mostly scholars without work authorization, as well as the many different personal responsibilities they juggle outside of school. It's a pretty extensive survey, as you can imagine, but we are very, very proud of our response rate. So every year we have at least 2 out of 3 of our currently enrolled scholars complete this survey. Last May is when we did this. We were very, very fortunate to get a 70% response rate, 7-0. And so we had 2,700 of our scholars participate in last year's scholar survey. And then every year we share key results from these surveys to guide our own program decision-making processes, but also share back out with our partner colleges to let you all know what our scholars are saying, as well as to impact field expertise and raising best practices and effective practices on how best to support undocumented student success, both in college and career equity. What's most exciting, what we're here to announce today, is that after years of producing data at the aggregate level for all of our scholars, we are finally ready to produce reports by partner college. So shortly, you should start receiving emails for each of our partner colleges teams, emails with your report for both what your scholars have said about their experience on campus. So just for those scholarship recipients on your campus, you'll be able to see what they said about their academic and partner college experiences, their career development and aspirations, as well as their personal well-being, as well as the same data points for all of our scholarship respondents who participated in this survey. So here on the left, you see a quick snapshot of a component of that report and what it will look like. And Chris, I can go ahead and share a more extensive view into what that report looks like real quick without going into details. I'm not going to go over the key findings here for today. That is for your own discovery. And once you receive these in your email, I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions. I'm happy to respond to any of those as you go through your data. But this is an example of what the report will look like for your college. Here I'm using the City University of New York as an example. As you know, CUNY is the largest consortium we work with. We work with 18 partner colleges in the CUNY system in New York. So this is an aggregate all of our CUNY colleges, but you will get this report specific to your college. So you'll see that we've taken key results in these key areas and what the scholars have had to say about their college journey, their academic success, rating quality of interactions with different agents on campus. And this is something that we take from the NSSE survey, the National Student Engagement Survey. I always blank on acronyms, but this is national data that can also be compared to what students are saying nationally, and your own college may be collecting this data as well. But for now, you will see data that compares what your scholars have said, our scholarship recipients on your campus, comparing them to what our overall scholarship recipient population has said. I'd also just like to quickly draw your attention to the fact that we have asked questions that are specific to us, in particular, understanding the institutionalization of supports for supporting undocumented students. We really hope that this data provides insights not only into how our scholarship recipients are experiencing college on your campus, but also other undocumented students. And we hope that these reports really help you identify areas of key need and high impact areas where you can be providing resources for your scholars in these areas. Lastly, I'll just draw quick attention here to the career development and aspirations piece. We think that especially as the majority of our scholarship recipients no longer have work authorization, especially for those who are incoming and looking ahead to our incoming cohorts, we've asked a number of different questions in terms of whether or not they see themselves as being independent contractors, entrepreneurs, whether or not they have ITINs, and we ask that you pay close attention to this data. We've asked a lot of questions around internships and fellowships, as we know that those are key building blocks to career success, whether or not they're planning to pursue a career requiring licensing. We hope that this data will really provide insights into what your scholars are experiencing and where they hope to go in their careers. So I will stop sharing there to go back to the slides. Thank you. Next slide. All right, so as I mentioned, we really hope this data provides startings of conversations and probably adding more content really to ongoing conversations on campus on how best to support undocumented student success. And then next slide, Chris, we are sharing this data to give you a preview and a heads up of what's to come. We do understand and acknowledge the fact that this is 2021-2022 scholar survey data. So it really reflects the experiences of your scholars in the past academic year. And so in some ways, this data is outdated and may reflect contextual changes like transitions in staff that may account for some of those results. But what we hope to do is start conversations around how we can use data to guide our programming and the resources we provide for our scholars, and also get some hype and excitement to encourage your current scholars to complete the survey for this year. So this is a long-winded advertisement and push to get our scholars to participate in our this year's scholar survey for the 2022-23 current academic year, which launches next week on Thursday. So as we always say, the more we hear from our scholars, the more credible our data is, the more effective our practices are in supporting them. And not only can this data be used in the higher ed space, but we've used our data both from our current scholars and our alumni for state and federal advocacy efforts, which I know many of you all are also involved in. Things around state licensure, for example, the data provides a very compelling narrative on why states should also push for more inclusive laws for our undocumented students. The last thing I'll say is for our new partner colleges, obviously you will not have a partner college survey report just yet. Yours will come next year. But for our current new partner colleges, so those who have their first cohort of scholars this year, we hope this also provides an overview and a sense of what to expect. And if you can encourage your new scholars to participate in the survey this year, that would be great. So for our newer partner colleges, we'll be sending the report for all of our survey respondents. So you get a sense of what the report looks like. It gives you a sense of what to expect as you get data for your current scholars or your new scholars that will be incoming this fall. And we'd be happy to answer any and all questions about what you see in the data. And so I'm not going to spill any specific tea so much as to say that we really hope that you take especially a deep look at the section around career development and aspirations, because we think that this is really a crucial area for our partner colleges for us to engage in the years to come. And so finally, I'll just say that our scholars' voices are super, super powerful. We are so, so appreciative that our scholars take the time. You know, the surveys do take on average 20 minutes or so to complete, and we are so, so appreciative of them every year giving us their feedback and their time, because the more we hear from them, the better we can serve them as well. And I think that's it from me. So everyone should start getting emails soon with your survey reports. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Here, when you start sending to the students the surveys, can you add us in the emails, and that way we know when we can start also talking to them? Yeah, maybe we can be like a group Zoom meeting we do all together.
Yes, I love it. A survey party. I know CUNY is big on that. Yes, yes, yes. We will announce it in the Partner College Weekly, and we will certainly plug it quickly at the next Power Hour as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you so much for that, Hayne. I know that our campuses are going to be super eager to get those reports and see what's going on. Now to move on to our National Scholarship Award announcements. So as you guys all know, we've already closed out the application cycle for this year. Notifications will be going out to applicants either by the end of this week or early next week. We are working with ISTS. They have many other organizations that they also manage. So we're sort of working out the timing with them right now. But again, by the end of this week or early next week, all applicants will be notified whether they've received the scholarship or not. Once those notifications go out, you, our PCs, will be able to view those announcements in your ISTS portal through your applicant list. So you'll be able to see exactly who has received the scholarship, who has not received the scholarship, as well as if they've already accepted the scholarship or not, right? So one of the best practices and what we ask from our partner colleges is to follow up with the students, right? Once they those announcements go out, they do have a 2-week period to accept the scholarship. And so we want to make sure that they are not missing out that email, that they're not sort of sleeping on accepting the award. So as a best practice, we do ask our PCs to reach out to students, let them know, hey, you've received the scholarship, make sure you don't lose it, make sure you go in and answer that email, letting them know that you are accepting the award. That is also a great opportunity to confirm whether they're going to be coming to your campus, right? We know that a lot of times the application cycles don't sort of align with between our application scholarship application and with your own acceptance applications. And so this would be a good time to also just say, hey, you know, I've noticed that you haven't applied yet to the college, or you have not committed yet to the college. And so there could be a couple of things that can be worked out there through those conversations as well. Just as a reminder, we do allow students up to the next spring semester to use the scholarship. So if you have a student who has received the award this year, but you notice that they have not applied to your campus as of yet, they can still apply for your campus next semester in the spring and still be able to use our scholarship, right? So these again are some conversations that could be had by reaching out to the students and getting that additional information. When I was at Hunter, I would sometimes have students who had difficulties paying the $100 deposit, commitment deposit. And so I was able to work with the admissions office in order to get the deposit waived once the student confirmed with me that they did want to come to Hunter. So if that's something that you can also work with your admissions office and be able to complete, that would be really great as well. And then again, just let them know who their point of contact is on your campus. So letting them know if you're the scholar advisor, you're going to be continuing to work with them. Sort of letting them know you've received the scholarship. Anything you need to know about the scholarship here at this campus, please feel free to reach out to me. It really grounds the student, it really anchors them, and they know where to go to for information at the early stages of receiving the award. Dylan, I see you have a question.
Yeah, sorry if this has already been answered. Do we as the partner college receive an email notification of all the students, or is that in the portal page? How do we know of all the students that have been accepted into the award?
Great question. So in your ISTS portal, you will have your applicant list. Right now, when you look at the applicant list, there is a column that says sort of like whether they've been accepted or denied. It is not populated as of yet, but you will be able to go back to that list once those awards have been made, and all of that information will be populated. You will be able to see whether the student has received the award or not, in addition to whether they've already accepted the award or not.
Chris, if I could jump in really quickly, I'll also just add, because I am with Elena, our Director of Scholarships right here, that an email notification also will go out to the partner colleges as soon as award notifications are live. I know we can't, as Chris mentioned, share the exact date, but you will be notified as soon as award notifications are out, so you'll know when to go into your ISTS portal and start pulling your lists.
Thank you so much for that, Hayne. Was that good, Alan? Did that answer your question?
Good for me, thank you.
Perfect. Jocelyn, you have a question?
Yes, thank you. We had a number of current students apply, as well as quite a number of new students. And I understood from a prior information that there's a preference for freshmen or first years for the scholarship. And I was just wondering if we should assume that most of the awardees will be the first year or the freshman students and not the transfer or the existing students. And what if you have some data like percentage wise, or this is our first year, so we've not had any students beforehand.
Yeah. So we do still want to focus on the freshman students coming in. I don't know that we have the data in terms of a split between current students and freshman students.
Chris, I'll just really quickly just say that we are not ready to announce the details of what our awards will look like, but that'll be coming up shortly, very, very soon. I know we're at the cusp of it, and so the anticipation is high, but we will be sharing that information in an upcoming email and in our next PC Weekly, so you'll understand the scope of the awards very, very soon.
Again, thank you so much for that, Hank. Okay, so moving on to the next piece.
I'm sorry, Chris.
no, go
Sorry
ahead.
for interrupt you. You mentioned something that the students, we have the waiver for the admissions cover. You got agreement with all the CUNYs, or we need to contact our admissions office and remind them that?
Yeah, so that was something I did at Hunter, specifically with my admissions office.
Oh, okay.
So campuses have that that leisure on their own with their own autonomy in CUNY. And so we were able to work out an agreement. And once the student verified with me that they were committed to coming to Hunter, I was able to relay that information to them.
Maybe but you can help us for next time, because really this time is too late. But for me, for next time, can you prepare us and help us to teach us how you did this? Because in the next time, I would love the idea to tell the students, because they already, most of them pay, how to do this. I would love that, because I don't have any idea how to get to school. They cannot send me out of them. You know what I mean? But if you teach us, maybe make one day to teach us how to do this for the next round.
Perfect.
It would be beautiful.
We will make note of that. Thank you so much, Gabriela. So once you've already connected with your students and start to look for opportunities for them to come in and engage on campus, this is a great opportunity for them to start building those communities, start connecting with each other as a cohort and as a group. One of the things that I also noticed that a lot of my incoming scholars, even though that they had applied to Hunter, they sort of had seen Hunter, they didn't never like step into Hunter, right? Like they didn't know where the library was. They didn't know where career services was. And so one of the things that I did was really just organize a campus tour, again, working with my admissions office, so that my group of Dream.US scholars would be able to get a tour of the campus, know where all the places were, and again, sort of have that opportunity to view the campus together as a group and start building those communities and start building those connections. And then, you know, engage with each other, encourage them to share their Instagrams and really just stay connected with each other as they continue to go through navigating the college process. I'm gonna stop there because we have two amazing partner college advocates for us and workers who are gonna be giving you more in-depth details of the processes that they work with. I want to contrast that there is a wide range in the two groups. Trinity is a much smaller college coming from a little bit more progressive state, and University of Houston is one of our largest cohort groups in the country, right? So I think you want to look at that a little bit as they both present, so that you can sort of identify what makes the most sense for you as you move through your own process, and looking at the scope of your own program and sort of the climate in which your program sits. So with that, I will pass it along to Janet.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. My name is Janet Perez Aguilera. I'm the director of the Dreamer Partnership and also the advisor to the Dream.US scholars, undocumented students, and all our dreamers here. As Chris mentioned, we are a small university. We're located in the heart of DC, and we're an all-women's college. So it's a little bit different from our other campus partners. One thing that I do want to mention here is that we want to stress the fact that we did a lot of early connections early on during the application season. So how do we welcome our new scholars is by doing a lot of legwork beforehand. As you can see here, it's a collaborative effort with our admissions team, financial aid, and the Center for Student Success. We have Shani here and Martha from Trinity Washington University representing as well. And we work extremely close to make sure that we're connecting with our scholars hosting virtual events in English and Spanish. And the main component to these virtual events and connections is for them to know ourselves, who we are, our purpose, how we continue to do this type of work, and how we are inspired by our students, and making those personal connections through personalized emails and phone calls. As well, we had our TheDream.Us peer mentors reach out to applicants as well, just to give them a little heads up in regards to the application, the deadline, and if they had any questions. As you can see here, here's a flyer of our Make It Official event. We wanted to host 2 sessions for our scholars, applicants, and our students that accepted to attend Trinity to understand their next 5 steps. Last but not least, in regards to being able to know the next steps, I'm their advisor. So we secure a new Strong Start registration meeting where I recap and do an overview of their general education requirements, major requirements, and we help them register for fall. As well, I review their Trinity platforms, where to schedule appointments, how to locate their unofficial transcripts, how to locate for classes, and understanding the platform Moodle, so they could be able to communicate with their professors. As well, making sure that they completed their housing applications. And last but not least, if they are going into an intended major of nursing, pre-nursing, OTA, or biology, we want to make sure that students know that they have to take a placement exam for biology. If students are applicable for any disability services, we make those connections right away, so students are set for their first semester at Trinity. Next, you could see a nice little overview of what we're going to be doing to introduce and welcome our new scholars. Once the awards are live and ready to go, we're going to outreach to our students, letting them know that they're invited to a virtual event to celebrate them and come together with the National and Opportunity Scholars as a cohort. We will have, freshmen and also transfer students, so understanding those and making those connections with current scholars and our graduating scholars for class of 2023. We want to make sure we keep the momentum going, and we are going to be doing a summer on-campus visit where students are able, opportunity scholars are going to be able to visit Trinity Washington University, stay for Friday night, and then come together as nationals and opportunity scholars to have a great time with us. So what does that mean? That means for them to be able to participate in different workshops, for them to understand the academic policies, the resources on campus, doing some vision boards, getting them motivated to transitioning from community college to Trinity or from high school to Trinity. As well, we wanted to make sure that they understand their financial aid component, the breakdown of their scholarship, the requirements. So we do the Trinity and the Dream agreement, them knowing that they have to meet with me every single semester, understanding the GPA requirements and workshop requirements. We're going to be doing a couple of activities, and I think for the summer visit, we want to make sure that we start doing those community builders for them to understand that they're part of this cohort, that they'll be able to make those connections. For example, we've done with the scholars, my name story, or even a values activities, a scavenger hunt throughout Trinity, and also how to become a leader, identifying their skills, their talents, and really just showcasing what's possible, what's next, and discovering their strengths during the summer. Next, we will have the new student orientation as a campus-wide event. So all students that are incoming for fall of 24, they will be invited to the College of Arts and Sciences orientation. There's going to be a lot of similar programming, but for this session, we want to make sure that they understand that they're part of the whole campus as well. And we want to make sure that they understand all the services, resources that we have provided for them. As well, next, we have the final component of them coming for fall of 23, and that is to welcome them with a dinner. We're going to invite our returning scholars to Trinity as they come into the fall of 23 and their courses, and also the new class as well. Next. Last but not least, I wanted to give you what we do here at Trinity for our scholars. We provide personalized academic and career support. So that is done with me. We meet every single semester to go over their general education requirements, major requirements, and also we start having those conversations into career and grad school planning. We want to make sure that students are applying to internships, that they have a resume, that they go to the career services office, and are able to participate in all the different fairs and activities that the career services hosts. As well, we're going to continue the peer mentor check-ins for our first and second year scholars. We're going to pair them up with a returning scholar just to make sure that they're checking in with them, talking about transitions, time management, professors, classes, all that good stuff. So they'll be able to navigate their experience successfully. Not only the peer mentors are a checkpoint for our scholars, myself, and also the support network, which is Shani and Martha from Trinity Washington University. Scholars are going to be, scholars are expected to participate in workshops, and that's only for them to be prepared academically, professionally, and for them to be looking into their next steps as moving into their careers. Is it graduate school preparation? What are the next steps? So as you can see here, this is our last class, our fall of 23 students. They were able to come together, do a signing. We did an agreement. They understood that they were part of this cohort, and we're shifting things this academic year. We want to make sure that students know that they have a lot of support, resources, and also that we want to make sure that they have the information that's needed for them to be successful. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Janet. That is amazing. You got a couple of comments on the chat box. This is awesome. Great job, Trinity. So I will second that note. This is amazing and this is great. We want to keep the momentum going. So we're going to be shifting over to Raven, who also again has the largest cohort of Dream.US scholars in the country, I believe. Raven.
I feel like I should just take my hand and go across my forehead there and go, woo, still the largest, huh? So thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to meet Navigate virtually. I was really excited to talk with Janet and hear about what they're doing over at Trinity. And one of the things that we talk about is just what does it look like to scale and scale up and scale as your campus grows. And so one of the pieces I think that Chris, when he invited me to come and talk, is to say, what does it look like for a larger campus? When I talked before about being one of the larger partners, I said, well, we look a little different, right? And we look a little different, not only how we engage our students, but how we leverage our partnerships on campus, our off-campus partners, and also how we leverage just technology. So for example, when we talk about just sheer numbers, one of the first things I want to just introduce you to is just a few of our scholars. There's some there. The three on the paper that you see in front, 3 of the 4 actually received the scholarship. And so one thing you're going to notice that we do a lot of peer mentoring. A lot of y'all do that. It's really easy for us to connect with students when they are connected with a student. So as young as I like to feel in my heart and as young as I like to feel in my soul, I noticed that our students do way better when they get an email from one of their own. And so connecting with them with the larger cohorts we have is one of the first pieces that we do. For example, right now, looking at some of our total awards we've had so far across the few years I've done it ever since we've had it at the inception of the program at our campus. So since 2015, 2016, and you can just see the amount of growth. I think right now we might go a little bit over 100, but we average about 75 to 80 so far on average between transfer and FTIC. So one of the first things we do, thank you, next slide. So one of the first things we do as soon as we get the winners, so my ears are perking up when I heard Hyde and Chris say, hey, we're getting this, is that we have to start our calling and our emailing campaign. I'll talk a little bit about some of y'all, I think we had a previous PC hour about some of the technology that we use at our campus called EAB Navigate, and how a lot of what I do is through the technology, and so much has to be done that way so we can track early alerts calling, emailing, texting, all that cannot be done from my own personal cell phone. As much as students love to be able to call me by my cell phone, we actually do all that through our Navigate app, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So emailing and calling first. As soon as we get the list, we go into the ISTS portal, and I'm able to see myself, awesome program creator Laura Gonzalez, our CSE team, our assistant director, 2 GAs, and some other people will call and get on EAB, and we'll notice that the ISTS portal will divide it by winner. So once we get the winner and then we get awarded, we divide the list that way. And so they'll get an email, basically, hi, how are you doing? My beautiful face, our team's faces that says, here's your next steps. So it's pretty much as soon as we get the information, we welcome them, we do hi, and then, okay, here's your homework. So the reason why we do it that way is we try to make sure they engage with us throughout the process of May, June, July, and then August. So by the time we have our Dream.US orientation in August, it's usually the first week in August, right, Chris? Yeah. But till we have that, they've already seen me 2 or 3 times. So it's not their first time seeing me. It's not their first time seeing the team. And then hopefully by the time we get to them in August, we've kind of done a lot of proactive work and preemptive strike, kind of like getting things that they have in play. So that first email talks about accepting your award. That first email talks about, are you still admitted? Are you not admitted? Our work with admissions, as soon as I start getting back those emails and requests from students, are you here? Are you admitted? Have you signed up for orientation? That email tells them all to do, and it gives them the different links, and then I record that. And then with the admissions person, just like Janet, we can't do this work by ourselves. I immediately have the admissions person, they're reaching out to them saying, okay, hi, we're your admissions liaison. Our office has a specific person that we work with, our liaison in each different office, financial aid, admissions, pretty much everybody, right? Housing, and then we do that first. So their email receives housing, TASFA, admissions, our office, orientation. So everything they need in that first welcome email says hello, and then here's all your to-do list. And once it's on their to-do list and we can see it, then they contact us back. And then that's when I start getting a larger list going for each of the different signals. So if student signals that you have a housing issue, if they have not been admitted, if they haven't done a TASFA, and then I keep a running list. So I can't work as much one-on-one, because if I do one-on-one, it's going to take us longer to get everybody's kind of problem solved, right? So I send one list to housing, I send one list to financial aid for TASFA, I send one list to admissions. So they know this is my Dream.US cohort coming in and transfer, and here's the thing that they need to work on. And so not only is my office at the point liaison with them in May, but another office, depending on how they respond to that email, that's what it looks like. If you do not respond to the email, you get a nice call, maybe about 3 days later. If I don't do it, when the student leaders do it, when the people like Mr. Cheyenne there you see, you'll get an email, and then you'll get a phone call. Hi, this is us. This is our office. You are awesome Dream.US scholar. You have not contacted us at all. And then we will go through the process with you by phone. So that's what it looks like first in May. We get really excited about the May. Of course, a lot of students have not, I think for us, May 1 is their intended high school selection date. And so if they've done it by May 1, great. If not, that may be a little bit of a problem for us, but we usually try to offset that with the May campaign. June looks a little different for us. By that time, we have a 2-day orientation for our freshmen. So 2-day, they spend the night. They will see us 3 to 4 times during that 2-day period. So we have a resource fair, the Dream.US flyer, and I think we have a sash and some other things are laying on our resource fair table. So when student leaders, they walk up to us and parents, they will see it, they immediately know it. It's also in admissions data. So admissions team across the state gives out our flyer. So students know when they come in, the parents, like, this is the office to go to if you have this scholarship. And then also that day we have a parent reception that's provided by admissions in the team. And then also the other, I think we do a first gen session. So usually 3 to 4 times in that 2-day period that they spend the night with us and stay overnight, they've seen our office more than 1 time. On the second day of admissions day, they have half a day to register with their advisor. It's like a 4-day window. And so in that window, we tell them, go to see your advisor, come to see us, vice versa, but they need to see us sometime that day. So whether you do transfer or freshman orientation, we will see you. We ask you to come to see us one-on-one. So that's when I work one-on-one with the students. So before our orientation, I've worked with you one-on-one, hopefully in June, if not sometime July, depending on when you've done your orientation. And this gets a little dicey for us. We do offer universities, because we're a little bit larger, we do offer a range 24 or so orientation throughout the summer, so they can go all the way to August. It works really well when our Dream.US orientation is not the first week in August, but when it is the first week in August, because we have an orientation right before that, so we can usually capture everybody. So let me repeat that. In May and June, in theory, I've seen every student at least twice, whether I see them one-on-one at the orientation, their second day when they register, and or they see us at a parent reception with their parent, and or some type of resource fair or the first gen session. So by the time they get to the orientation with us in August for our Dream Orientation, we bring all our scholars together. They've already seen our office and interact with our office. June, we kind of finalize all our applications, our housing application. It's a little different for us right now because we're rated about 98% housing sometimes. And so, you know, if they want to stay on campus, what does it look like for that housing piece, financial aid piece, the TAFSA piece? And so that's when we're doing a lot of that work with their parents, going over their account with them and how much they have, what their account looks like. And so their financial aid package one-on-one. After we do that, we get to the June and July situation where our first gen session research for and our DreamUS orientation. For us, it's a little bit of a longer day. Next slide for me. There it is. So for us, you'll get a flyer, something like this that talks about what we will share. This was come up by our awesome program coordinator, Laura Gonzalez. It looks really exciting. We get in there, you have food. We start the day about half the day. I think the orientation starts about like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock usually. And so we come in around, they have them come in around 10 to 11, get them settled. They come in, they sign in from our office, a little bit larger room, kind of like a big auditorium looking kind of place. And then we divide them up into groups. So they come in, they get their orientation packet that we have from us. They get like the packet that says, how are you? How are you doing? This is what you have. And they kind of have a questionnaire. So they come in, sit down, they grab lunch. Usually some kind of catered lunch where we kind of give time to get settled. And then we start our spiel. We do our spiel and our kind of like our presentation about an hour before the DreamUS orientation starts. And then after that, we put on the orientation where, you know, Gabby and all the team talk, Candy, you know, the big orientation. We watch that usually all the way through. And then after we turn it off, we go back over what did you hear? And then we go over one by one their account. So for us, it looks a little different on that side because really what happens, you cannot leave until you've seen me. So until you see me and I've okayed your application, I've okayed your admission, your financial aid, you know exactly what you have, you know exactly where you're staying on campus. You have 0 questions, no holes, no ISS hole, no residency affidavit hole, no bacterial meningitis hole. You've done your math placement. And I see people shaking your head. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And you can't leave until you've done all that. And then we do that with the team. So by that time, all of us are in that room. They've divided them up by groups. And they've kind of gotten all the questions answered. We did a big, huge hurrah. It's a little bit longer of a day for us, but it gets all the students' questions answered. It gets the parents who come answered. You probably be surprised when parents come to orientation for us. We do a really good job on the social media saying, hey, please come. You know, let us answer as many questions as we can, meet our partners. When we can that day, we do have partners come in that day. We're going to get to a point now we have financial aid coming in, a few of the departments that come in to kind of offset some of that work that we're doing. And so the students can that day go to financial aid. They did that day go to the whole places, get all the holes off the registrar's office. We show them the paperwork they should have had done. And so if they've gotten those 2 pieces done, come to our orientation and come to their own orientation for just the campus, they've gotten everything done before they come see us in August. And we're really excited about that. One of the ways that we do this through a personalized help, of course, in our scholarship team is once they meet us is we have everything on our Navigate app. So if you're one of the campuses that has some type of leverage your technology, because for example, we text students on here, our early alert system is on here, where they are checking things off on their checklist. Have they done the residency affidavit so they won't have that hold for Texas grant for our office? Because for us, if we're looking at what they want in the package, if they get their scholarship, $48.75 plus their TASFA, which is our Texas grant, then if they get that, they go to school for free, right? And so getting those, making sure that financial aid package and where they are in the process is good. And all this is on their dashboard. Their dashboard's on their phone, and so they can pull this up. They make appointments with me, their Outlook, everything is on their phone. And also I can see where they are in the process of getting all these things done. It has a success team listed on it. So their scholarship advisor, not on myself, but their different offices that they interact with. And then it has all the contact information for those people. So we have one contact that we have in housing, we have one contact in financial aid, we have one contact and a different, so the liaisons across campus and career services. So as we do this work with our partners, it's divided up. And as it divides up, it helps our students really get to know not only my office, but realize I want them to go out into campus. So as our freshmen, yes, come in, we give them our CSC, Center for Student Empowerment Love, but I really want them to get involved on campus. Our campus can be very, very large at times for them. We are Hispanic serving, we are Asian serving, we're the second most diverse behind, of course, the ones on the call today. And so we want to make sure that they get that feeling of we're a big campus, we have a big love. And so we try to make that campus feel a small campus feel, and how we do that is getting them involved. I can check here on the advising apps and all the different EAB Navigate apps. if they're interacting with their other advisors. And so this is how I contact their group. So I tell people all the time, we get a little stealth with students before they get here. They're like, oh, how did you know I did not go see so-and-so? I know because I contacted them, and we asked them if they're a DreamUS person to please keep their notes and their advising notes and things up to date. That way we can have a way of seeing who they went to see. And from here, I can make referrals out. So our Navigate app and our dashboard app is very, very important for us, not only before they get here, but then afterwards, of course. Next slide, please. So one of the things I think that we talk about, and Chris has asked us to think about, Jen and I, was how we interact with our students on a holistic model and knowing that we can't do all this work ourselves. So for example, with us, because our campus has a large cohort, I ask that they see me more than once a semester. I would prefer twice. So if they see me in August, they see their advisor in September, they see me in October, and we do it that way. We go one kind of a month. I prefer they see myself at least once, and then someone else, they can't get into me, they can get in with see one of our other partners, one of our other team members in CSC. So if that's the case, we know they're hitting all the major areas on their goals. And so as they set their goals, they come in for their first one. Their first meeting is with me, but after that, they're meeting someone preferably every month. They are required to go to some workshops in these different areas. They're all required to go to different places on campus and make sure that they're attending those. And so as they want other, as we want them to interact with other offices, we tell them, okay, as you work through your mapping, as you work through your individual education plan, to look at what does that look like. And then we ask those partners on campus, if they can, to take those notes in those portals so that we can see that they've met with the people we would like and we give that whole holistic support. Next slide, please. So one of the ways we try to get them, make sure that we're able to get them across campus and everyone understands, not just my office, the office that supports our Dreamers, but all offices understand this, is that Dream Zone Alley training is offered through our Center for Diversity and Inclusion. So different offices on campus can take a training where they're learning about not only how to support Dreamers, but how their office themselves can also make sure they're tailoring their services to our group. So when I send a student to financial aid and I send a student to your office, wherever that may be, that you know how to support that student. So the difference in, I think, that with us is that when we're larger, I can't do all the work by myself, but I need to know that when I send a student to your office, that you're supporting the way I support them. And I know I'm saying that to colleagues. And so we have some great colleagues and great partners across campus. They've all done the training. And so when we go and decide, hey, we're going to take our work online, and we've done our tasks for online, how we transition them to high school, how we do Cooks Care, emergency aid, we do all that before they get here. And so that way, hopefully when a student comes in, they feel not only supported, but they know here's my team of professionals, not just Dr. Jones, right? When they come in, Raymond Jones is here, but there's a lot of y'all and there's one of me. So I need you to feel the UH Cougar love, not only just the CSC, our office love. And so that's one of the things we try to do. We try to offset as much of that big campus feel. And I feel like we do that really well at UH. One of the ways we also do is looking at, like I said, financial aid advice. I told one thing we're really, really proud of is that before they get here, they can do their tasks online. For us, that was not a process before I got here. It was all by paper. And so now they can turn in most of their paperwork to get their Texas grant and to get their TAPE grant, most of their financial aid online. So that offsets us having to do that paperwork with them. Now we still do tasks with FAFSA workshops, like a lot of many of y'all, I'm sure y'all do. But what we try to do is get as much online as possible. That way, my office is not turning in paperwork or helping to turn paperwork by hand. That's the orientation day, right? So as much online beforehand. I do some just paper, but like I said, most of it we try to do online. Emergency aid and Cooks Care, we try to also introduce this all on our first day. So when they can see it, if they ask, textbook help, what does it look like to make sure I have this done? Any kind of off-campus resources I need if I don't drive, because Houston is large, I need a Metro card. So all that is kind of offered that day. So that way when students leave, we tell them, here's what it looks like if you have to drive in like we do, and if you have a commute, right? This is what it looks like when we look at your campus. So we look at all that same day. It's a long day for our orientation. It's a great day. I told students they do a follow-up that following week. And so the next 2 weeks after the orientation day, I leave open for students to come back and see us one-on-one if necessary. Them and their parents heard some, it's a lot of information that day. They've heard a lot of partners that day. And so if they needed to come back and reschedule with us for any of the things that you see here, we let them know all this on the first day. And then after that, we leave space for them to come back. So if the orientation is offered on August 1st, then I leave the first week or so after that open for the students to come in and one by one make appointments as necessary. So our orientation may start on that day. It may happen, looks like that one day is long, but before that we've seen them, during that we've seen them, and then after that we make sure we have a follow-up. If we don't see them, they get an immediate phone call saying, did you pick our school? Where are you? We call people that day. I think we've done that before. So with this, the program starts at 12. By 12:30, we're calling students and saying, hey, where are you? You know, we text them, you're supposed to be here, yada, yada. So it's a lot of push to get them here. But once I get the majority of my scholars, which we have on each orientation, then it helps me on the back end try to see students as much as possible that I can that one day and then go from there. So after they are seeing all this kind of support services that day, next slide. They're introduced to our different programs that we have. So I by no means say I plan all this. I have wonderful people in the office and student leaders who plan all the fun stuff. But we do introduce to the peer mentoring, the one-on-one mentoring that we have for different programs, our dreamer mixers, our different mixers throughout the program that we have throughout the year. And then things we have, a program that we have made with CAPS, our CAPS psychological services, programs that we have with other offices. And so we introduce them that, they kind of get a feel for it. I think we give them like a sample flyer of things that they can see. So when they leave that day, they also get kind of, here's what we do throughout the year, all the kind of fun stuff, the pizza party stuff, all that. We try to go for one major event and one small event a month. So we try to give them a sample schedule. It's not all ironed out by August 1 or August, the date of the orientation. But we do give them like, here's what we had in previous years, and here's kind of what we have going forward. So if students want to see that day, the Youth Empowerment Alliance or undocumented RSO, registered student org, if they want to see that group, we have them come in that day and say hello. So we let them know, hey, here's some things that we can offer on campus. And if you want to get more information, then let us know. So it's a little bit of a long day, but once they see kind of, here's the different things, here's the serious stuff that we offer, here's our academics, here's our financial, here's our career, civic leadership, but then also here's a personal piece, right? Really reaching out to them one-on-one and saying, we'd like to see you in the office, and here's what we'd like to do more of this work. And so once they kind of get a sense of the different pieces that we do with our different offices on campus, then they feel more like, okay, it's not just our office, but it's the whole entire campus welcoming me to the campus. Next one. I think this might be the last one. So, like I said, we try to have some representatives from the different groups there at the orientation. Realize our orientation for regular campus is 2 days. So they see these offices on a regular basis. But in each one of these offices, we have liaisons. So sometimes depending on what it looks like for that group, 1 or 2 of these offices will come that orientation and or they'll do a follow-up one-on-one with the students for us if we need them. So I can send a list of the different groups and say, here's housing, here's the students who have questions about their housing assignment, whatever. And so and we do it that way, kind of gets it to where students know not just myself, but the liaison themselves. And then we'd like the self-advocacy point. I think one of the bigger things about the campuses on the call who have larger groups that we know we can't do all the work. And so as much as I want students to come to me for everything, I'd like them also to integrate themselves in the campus and really work on their self-empowerment and their own self-advocacy and getting out on campus and knowing people. So as they know the liaisons to these different offices, then that helps them say, okay, I was introduced by CSC, but guess what? This person here, I remember I'm making a connection with, and then I can reach out to this person on my own. So, you know, as freshmen, they do tend to be a little bit more quiet, but as we get them there, they get to the point where they don't even need me anymore. And of course, they go, you know, become part of the other offices. And so that's what we like. We like them to feel that everything on campus is not only supported for them, but made for them, and they won't feel like the only one. Our campus does have a rather large dreamer population, just not only for the scholarship, but overall. And so they do interact with the other groups. So I think we have between 600 to 800 of undocumented students on campus are dreamers. And so we let them know that this is a scholarship, but there's tons of students on campus that you can interact with, and here's how. And we try to, like I said, give it to them on that one day. And then after that, they can give us different follow-ups and ask us questions about where to go. Next one, I think that was the last one. Thank you.
Thank you, both Raven and Jeanette. That was a lot. There was a lot of information there. It was all amazing, all great. I told you guys when I first spoke with you, like I thought I was a big shot at Hunter, but you guys have both humbled me. Just seeing what you're doing on your campus is just amazing. So thank you again for sharing all of that information. We want to open it up as an open forum. I know we have like 5 minutes left. For anybody who has questions, concerns, you can put them in the chat. You can unmute yourself, and just want to open up the space right now for your comments, concerns, and questions.
Hi, this is Mariana. Can I ask a question really quick? So thank you all so much. That was so insightful, so helpful. I think that I've always kind of struggled with having like required or like mandatory things, right? Because especially like being in a commuter campus and having a lot of like part-time students, for example, that's something that we just struggle with like in general. What is something that y'all do to, I guess, like keep students accountable to that, I guess, or, you know, like how do you promote people coming to events and stuff?
Yeah, we have a large commuter campus on campus. We also have a commuter assistance program. We work, and I would say my team, we work hand in hand, trying to get a little bit more on the partnership side. I have to say, I know it's a little bit, and well, I'm saying, I'm talking to colleagues, and of course, people are on the call, Chris shaking his head. I am a little strong when I say I need to see you. So I'm not to say that in a purposeful way that I just come out and say it, but also texting students, emailing them, calling them, and then meeting them where they are. We offer enough range. I saw that with Janet, like y'all's groups offer enough range that we ask you, please come to something. So that's one of the ways I think that we get really good partnership. We also do some transportation stuff, offering Metro cards and, you know, offering different other pieces that we're trying to get back to, offering a parking scholarship. We've done just different things that kind of get our commuters engaged, and then saying, hey, you know, we want you just to come on campus and stay for a little bit, you know, not just go back home. We all understand you got to work and go to school, but just at least come see us for a little while. So different things that kind of keep the students engaged. And we do a lot of technology to keep them kind of engaged on that website app on Navigate. So continual kind of conversation. They might get tired of it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. How do you, we're new to the Dream and our students are diverse, but most of us don't know who the undocumented or out of status students are. How do you deal with that? Like when you're organizing events and bringing them together? Because I'm kind of concerned about students who may want to be, you know, want to be private about their status. And so have you encountered anything like that? And, you know, I would say, I mean, you're having an orientation for them. So they're all exposed, I suppose. And has any student ever had an issue or concern? To either of you, I'm sorry, Janet or Raven. Thank you also, I was very impressed with everything you're doing. And so I'm very excited.
I could just speak a little bit about that in regards to being visible on campus. We do work closely with the Butterfly Network here at Trinity Washington University. So it's a campus organization, and they help with recruiting, reminding students, but also they take pride in being the DreamUS scholar, also being undocumented as well. And I think them being visible and being able to share out their stories, be a little bit more, being able to be consistent with interactions. I hosted a community of support sessions last semester, and we were able to connect in regards to mental health resources, how to look for a therapist, what are the resources online here on campus. So I think the more visible they are, you have those student leaders that speak out, and they're just extremely proud of being the DreamUS scholars, or even undocumented as well, and the additional barriers that they have to face to be successful. So I think your students are your key to bringing in more students and making them feel, you know, safe, but also to bringing in that pride as well.
Thank you. That makes sense. I had another question for Mrs. Jones. You talked about something in your slides about ally training or Dream Zone ally training. Could you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, and I speak from a state, you know, from Texas. So I'll just say that. And I know people don't know what I mean when I say I speak from Texas. We're a Texas state. And so I think it is really not only refreshing, but empowering and exciting that I don't do this work alone. I think because we have so many awesome offices on campus and centers and departments that are willing to do our Dream Zone Ally training that we come up with. So we have a training course that offered through our Center for Diversity and Inclusion that talks about basically what it sounds like, a Dream Zone where students are able to, students and staff, faculty, everybody actually can take it. Departments take it as a whole. Are offered not only training, but resources and tools, language, cultural competency, what does it look like to support this office, where to go, what kind of stigma students that come in contact with. And it really goes through some of the harder conversations and then easier conversations of what does it look like to support this student. The training is offered, I believe, once a month. It has had a panel of students. I've conducted the training. Department Laura Gonzalez, who's on the call, our program coordinator's done it. Our Center for Diversity and Inclusion in our office and campus has done a really good job of getting this word out. I second what Janice said, that you really want the campus to be welcoming. And so it is not a problem when you say it, the campus says it, admissions says it, financial aid says it. When all these different partners say it, students feel welcome. There's no isolation when they're saying, no matter where I go, they'll see it. And I guess there's also the plaque/image that they'll see at the different offices. So they can go to the different offices and see that Dream Zone Ally training. They'll see the butterfly. They'll see different ones. And so they'll know that when I come into that office, that there's someone there that not only understands, but can support me, at least know where to go or what I'm dealing with. And so that helps. And so I second what Janet says, when students do it and students lead it, but staff and faculty second it, and we third it, then students feel comfortable and they feel loved here. At least we want them to.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Janet and Raven, so much for this session. I think it was super informative. Hopefully everyone was able to take something out of it and really adapt it to what they're already amazing work that they're doing on campus. We are at time, so I will be closing out. Just a quick preview for next month's PC Power Hour. Our website is actually getting a facelift, a brand new sort of makeover. And we are going to be joined by our comms team, Gabby Pacheco and Sadhana Singh, who are going to be walking us through what our new website is going to look like next month. So that's going to look, I can't lie, I got a little bit of a sneak peek and it looks kind of awesome. So hopefully you guys love it. All the information will be there and it could be just another resource for you in collecting information and getting resources for our students, right? So please join us next month, May 30th for PC Power Hour, where we'll be doing a little bit of an unveiling of our new website. Thank you all so much. The PowerPoint and the video of today's recording will be shared with our PC Power Hour that will go out tomorrow so that you have it all for your reference. Have a great one. Ciao.